Welcome. Today, we are diving into a 300-year-old poem that got its start not with some grand epic idea, but with a real-life high society scandal. All it took was a pair of scissors and, well, a very bad haircut.
So, let's just start with this question, because it sounds completely ridiculous, right? But it is at the absolute heart of our story today, because in this case, it really almost did.
This is the story of a poet, the brilliant Alexander Pope, who took what was basically a petty, gossipy fight between two super-wealthy families and transformed it into one of the greatest satires ever written.
So, how did this whole thing even begin? Well, it didn't start as a work of fiction. It began as a real-life, high-society drama that had everybody in London talking.
Okay, so this actually happened. You've got this guy, Lord Petre, who playfully snips a beautiful curl from Arabella Fermer's hair. The problem? He didn't ask first. The social fallout was intense. We're talking a full-blown feud between their powerful families. Things got so heated that a mutual friend actually asked Pope to write something, anything, to make them all laugh and just calm down.
But Pope, he didn't just write some simple little peacemaking poem. No. He chose a much cleverer, way more powerful tool to deal with this. He decided to go big, really big. And this is where you really see his genius. He chose a literary form called the mock epic. He looked at this tiny, ridiculous squabble and decided to give it the full Hollywood blockbuster treatment. We're talking gods, epic battles, heroic speeches, the whole shebang.
The contrast here is it's what makes it all work. On one side, you have your classic epic. Think Homer's Iliad with Achilles and the gods on Mount Olympus deciding the fate of entire nations. And then you've got Pope's version, where those grand battles are replaced with an intense game of cards, and the gods are replaced with these tiny little spirits whose main job is to protect a lady's hairdo.
So this really gets to the heart of the satire. By using that grand, serious, heroic language to describe a silly fight, Pope wasn't making it seem important, he was doing the opposite. He was showing just how absurd and self-important the whole situation was. It's kind of like using a giant cannon to swat a fly. The sheer overkill is the whole point.
But here's the thing. Pope wasn't just making fun of these two families. He was way more clever than that. He used this one little incident to put their entire social class, the wealthy, idle, and oh-so-dramatic aristocracy of 18th century England, right under a satirical microscope.
And man, he went after everything. Through this poem, he systematically picked apart the core values of their world, their obsession with looks, their endless empty days, and their totally superficial ideas about honor and reputation.
Here's a perfect example of what he does. He describes the poem's heroine, Belinda, getting ready for the day, doing her hair, her makeup, but he uses the language of a religious ritual. Her dressing table becomes an altar, her cosmetics are sacred objects. Pope is basically pointing out that this society has replaced genuine faith with the worship of its own reflection.
And he does this everywhere. He portrays the entire upper class as just wasting their lives on meaningless things, like super intense card games that they treat with the same gravity as the Trojan War. And the all-powerful gods, they get shrunk down into these tiny spirits called sylphs, whose only real job is to stop Belinda's makeup from smudging. Now, to make his moral point absolutely crystal clear, Pope created two key characters who represent two totally different ways of looking at the world. It's a real showdown.
So on one side, you have Belinda. She's the star of the show, and she is the perfect symbol of the society Pope is making fun of. Her entire sense of self, her honor, it's all tied up in how she looks. But then, on the other side, there's Clarissa. She represents substance, she's the voice of reason, she's the one in the background basically saying, hey, guys, maybe we should focus on things that actually matter.
See, this is so important. Pope isn't just criticizing for fun, he's also offering a solution. Through Clarissa's big speech, he argues that real honor doesn't come from a perfect curl of hair that can be snipped off in a second. It comes from good sense and being a good person.
So that brings us to our final point. How on earth is a 300-year-old poem about a haircut still relevant to us today? Well, let's get into it.
What Pope created here is a timeless mirror. He masterfully uses humor to show us exactly what happens when a society gets obsessed with trivial stuff, when we care more about appearance than substance. The poem is this incredible reminder that our own world often gets caught up in blowing up tiny, insignificant dramas, all while ignoring what truly matters.
And that really leaves us with one final thought. What are our modern-day trivial obsessions? What are the minor dramas, the online feuds, the obsessions with appearance that we treat like they're epic, world-ending battles? The world has changed a lot in 300 years, but human nature? Maybe not so much.